Welcome back to the Collective Shift channel. Today, we'll be discussing a recent post by our senior research analyst, Nick, on why he believes Cardano and its ADA token are overvalued. In the post, there was also coverage of some other cryptocurrencies that he thought were overvalued. This post was published for Collective Shift members recently and is an example of the type of content we produce for our valued members to help them save time and make informed decisions. Hi Nick, how are you today?
Yeah, good. Keen to jump into talking Cardano.
Yeah, excellent. I love this post, and I think we'll kick things off. I'll get it up on screen here for those watching on YouTube, but yeah, first question, Nick, what sort of motivated you to write this post?
Yeah, so just looking at the crypto top 10, there's no doubt you see a few names in there that you may not think belong in the top 10 and are attracting quite a significant valuation in terms of market cap. So I just went through, chose one or two that I really identified as potentially overvalued when you're looking in the top 10. And Cardano is one that I think a lot of people have long criticized and I think has still continued to really struggle to attain users.
Yeah, it's been around, for as long as I've been, working, in the industry since, 2017. I've heard about this whole way through. I suppose, what were your main findings? Like, did you think what was the first place, I suppose, you looked when you went to assess Cardano?
The main things I look for are looking at things like low transaction counts, daily active users on the network. This is often a sign of how many core users you have that are wanting to trade on the network. Keep in mind, these can easily be faked via people botting them, faking volume and faking on-chain transactional history. So even with the low transaction count, it's quite concerning because I really take these as an overestimate and the maximum amount of people, or I guess users, because don't forget, many users will have multiple wallets in the ecosystem. So this is often not active users, but more active addresses.
Sure. And then when you compare, those transaction volumes, to the likes of Ethereum, is it really that, they're both, top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap, but, I would assume there is quite a significant gap in their sort of activity and usage.
Yeah. So normally on some of the bigger chains like Solana or Ethereum, you'll get the hundreds and thousands of, daily transactions or daily active addresses. Whereas with Cardano, there's, only about, I think, 70,000 daily transactions and about similar amount of daily active addresses on the network. So considerably lower, and considering that it gets a market cap of about 14 billion, it's quite alarming to see such low numbers. If we also looked at things like contract transactions, this is one that really stands out to me when you can look at how many interactions are the main dApps on Cardano getting. We can see via, I think it's one of their sites called Cardano dApps, only about 2 have recorded more than about 10,000 unique users in the last month. Which is pretty concerning considering it really drops off after that. So we can see there's not a ton of real usage by members in the community, and it kind of points to a real small niche of Cardano users who are using the chain rather than anything that's getting really widespread adoption.
Yeah, understood. You definitely want, a bit more of a vibrant ecosystem for sure than just 2 dApps or decentralized applications with, more than 10,000 unique accounts in the past month. A bit of not much to look forward to or to get excited about.
Kind of also gets worse when you look at the stablecoins in the network and things like TVL. So if we look at total value locked, I think Cardano rates 24th out of these layer 1 blockchains, even behind EOS, which is considered a long dead chain. It gets worse if you look at stablecoins, which is, I think, one of the best metrics in terms of adoption and demand for the blockchain, because once there's a lot of transactions, a lot of trading, you have a lot of demand for things like USDC and stablecoins, so they can sort of sit on when they move in and out of trades, or even just to save in. If we look at Cardano, it ranked, I think, 45 in terms of the largest amount of stablecoins on the network, which is just behind another dead chain, Neo, which is like another 2017 favorite there.
Yeah, that's very surprising to see it ranked so low. I suppose, yeah, then when you look at it being ranked market cap at the moment, somewhere in between in what is it now these days? Is it
About
still
7. Yeah, it goes in between.
7 still, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What's the sort of the reason, just for the everyday sort of, viewer or listener at the moment, what would explain it being still 7th?
I think Cardano is one that gets a lot of media attention. It's creator Charles. He's very notable in terms of he's the front face of Cardano. He's got a real sort of ideological following. A lot of people really look to him as sort of a real inspiration because of his like academic backgrounds. But that kind of turns in when you have that figurehead that a lot of people rally behind that one figure, which can kind of, lead you wrong the down path and just putting all your hopes in the one person there, I think, as well. And it's one that I think a lot of people that are new to crypto really seem to be attracted to. So It's really why I want to make this post, to sort of look at it from an unbiased account and just look at what's going on the chain with all the metrics there and sort of paint a picture of it doesn't really deserve that number 7 spot.
Yeah, I think in a sort of asset class that's so early and so young, you see there really isn't any widely agreed upon valuation metrics. So yeah, I think to your point, something like a really cult figure and someone that's, really outspoken and like a leader, for whether he's good or bad leader is not for us to say, but those sorts of qualities in such a young asset class can really lead to a coin or token really soaring up the charts. And it's something we saw, I think, in 2022, a lot of, the downside of that when there's so much trust in, central figures, whether it's, Do Kwon or Suzu and Kyle Davies or Sam Bankman-Fried. It really is telling that you can see the good side of it. Oh, if there is any good side, but definitely the bad side. There's plenty that can go wrong when you're not really basing your investment decisions on any sort of, fundamentals, which you've done a really good job of in this post. Before we do wrap things up, Nick, I noticed you did cover, a handful of other sort of coins or tokens that, in your opinion, you think are overvalued and, you're definitely, not going to be touching them or investing in them anytime soon. We don't short of time to go into all of them, but I think was there one that you sort of, thought was topical and wanted to discuss before we wrap things up?
The main one I probably would discuss here is Aptos, which is the APT token. That is a relatively new blockchain that launched, I think, just in the start of January. And that has a sort of a market cap of about 2.6 billion. It's surged, multiple hundreds of % in the last month, but it's still yet to really command that market cap in my mind. They're still trending down in terms of number of new addresses on the network, only about 5,000 added each day. This has actually been dwindling to 3,000 to 4,000. We're also seeing lack of real significant development or adoption on the network outside of sort of NFT speculation. So this is one that I, really noticing that could potentially be really useful one day if it really carves out its own moat and differentiator in terms of layer 1 blockchains. But at this time, with very little actual users and development, I'm not quite sure it, deserves this such high market cap that it's commanding right now.
Yeah, that has been one that's been real topical of late, and burst onto the scene in the closing months of last year, and has really sort of failed so far in its young stages to gain to developer interest or even user interest. Was there any others out of those handful, Nick, that you want to maybe give a shout out to as one that you're a bit concerned by in terms of its value?
There's VeChain, which is VET. This is a token that's had a lot of controversy. It, got started in late, I think 2017, and it's been around ever since. They've actually signed like $100 million partnership with the UFC to become the official layer 1 blockchain of the organization. So this is one that I think is a good lesson. If you're a holder, you've got to really question why your cryptocurrency is sort of marketing itself as, an official layer 1 blockchain of the UFC rather than getting any substantial user activity. So one that I would definitely be concerned about and really makes me cringe wherever I check out the latest UFC.
I know you are quite the fan, so I think you would be hearing VeChain's name quite a bit. Unfortunately, I think that would bother you, but it's another good one to really be pointing out to members. But yeah, we will leave it there, Nick. As I did say at the top of this show, this post was recently published on the Collective Shift platform and is an example of the type of, valuable content that members are getting ultimately to help them, yes, understand more about how cryptocurrency works, but also to save them time and to make more informed decisions. So yes, if you are wanting to level up your game, we can book in a free strategy call. So our CEO Ben is currently taking strategy calls, and his calendar's booking up fast. So to go over and to book one in, definitely go to the website at collectiveshift.io. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.